Thank you very much, guys. Congratulations, Uzi. You did it. You made it to the final. How validating is it for you to be the first player in League of Legends history to make it to the World Championship final twice?
Uzi，非常恭喜你，你终于成功了，进入决赛了。你自己对你自己成为历史上唯一一个连续2次进入总决赛的选手，你自己是怎么想的？有什么感受？
我现在真的非常的开心，要感谢很多人，真的，我要感谢我的队友吧，他们这次真的打得非常的好。
I'm very happy right now, and I want to say thank you to a lot of people, especially my team members. They are doing really well in this game.
What exactly is it that you would tell your team right now, or that you told them right now, knowing that you were in the final last year and now you have all these new players around you that made it happen again with you?
我们想知道你想对你的队友们说什么，因为你去年的时候你也进入总决赛，现在在你身边的这些队友跟去年相比，全都是全新的面孔，你有什么想跟他们说的？
非常感谢你们，让我再次又进到了决赛，非常感谢。
Thank you so much for making it happen that I'm going to be in the final again.
Tell me more about the series and specifically the daring picks from you guys. How does the fact that you guys allowed Insec to play Fiddlesticks and Pantheon reflect the amount of trust you guys have in him as a team?
我们想知道，我们注意到在比赛里面 ，Insec 自己他选择了包括像末日、包括像潘森等等之前不常出现的英雄。我们想知道你们是队伍里面是怎样给他的这个信任，来让他选择这些英雄来跟你们一起并肩作战的。
因为我们非常相信Insec的 carry 能力，所以说他选择什么英雄我们都会赞同。任何人选择什么英雄我们都会非常赞同的，只要他自己说出来。
We believe Insec can carry the whole team, so we trust him. Whichever champion he picks, we trust him a lot. And in all our team members, it's basically the same, that whenever and whichever the champion that player chooses, we trust him.
Well, that definitely shows. Last year in the final, you guys were underdogs versus SK Telecom. Now you have a formidable opponent in Samsung White. What do you take from last year's experience to make sure you can do it this time?
去年的时候，你们被 SKT 在总决赛中击败了。这次你再次回到总决赛的赛场，然后你们将面对的是强大的3星白。你觉得从去年的比赛中你学到了什么，可以带到今年的比赛中，让你们来赢得比赛？
我学到了这个游戏更看团队，就5个人都是看5个人才能取得这个游戏的胜利的。
I learned more about this game is more of a teamwork game. We only what we can trust, what we can rely on is a 5-people team. Only with that we can win the game.
Well, knowing that you are the veteran as the only person who's been in that final twice, what are you going to tell your team to prepare them for that moment next week Sunday?
你是从去年到今年唯一一个能参加总决赛的队员，你觉得你会跟你的队员来说什么，让他们更好的准备接下来的比赛？
我觉得我要跟我的队员说，非常感谢他们吧，然后我也希望他们打得更好，都非常的强。
Firstly, I want to say thank you to them again, and secondly, I hope they can doing much better in the final as well.
Okay. Finally, you're not on your home turf yet. A lot of people were cheering for your team. Is there anything you want to say to all of the people here and all the people cheering for you guys back home?
我们也看到现场有很多的粉丝都在跟你们庆祝皇族的胜利，你有什么想跟他们说的？
非常感谢现场的粉丝，也感谢看直播的粉丝们，非常感谢你们。
I want to say thank you to all the players, all the audience here on site, and also all the audience in front of the computer to see us. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Uzi. We'll see you in the final. And as for us, we're going to go back over to the guys at the desk.
Thank you very much, Shocks. Congratulations to Uzi. Guys, excuse me a second. I need to have a bit of a rant here. So, with that win, Starhorn Royal Club set themselves up to face Samsung White in the World Championship Finals next week. As an interesting note here, Samsung White holds the record for a win with the largest gold difference at 25,000 gold at 28 minutes. Royal Club holds the record for a win with the largest gold deficit, being 9,000 gold down. Now, if that isn't a David and Goliath matchup, Monte Cristo, I don't know what is. Just before we give Doublelift a moment to shine, this is a team that also has the 3rd highest gold lead. The game they just won, 23,500 gold lead, is the 3rd highest at Worlds. The only person that predicted this victory correct was Doublelift, and 50% of the fans at home. Doublelift, care to gloat?
Yeah. To all the naysayers and to Crepo, Monty, and Freak, you guys are all trash. To be fair, I did predict the fans to win.
Hey,
So,
hey,
game
hey.
5,
I mean, this is just the worst thing ever because this is only fuel for Double Lift's delusions that a team centered around an AD carry can actually make the world final.
I'm not listening.
Which is true,
I'm not
by
listening.
the way.
I'm not listening.
Hey, 80,
It worked.
80 carry point,
What up,
man.
baby?
And I
I'm
have
all
to
on your
say,
side.
I made a terrible, terrible error. I actually disobeyed my own rule by betting against Korean players, and I feel so damn stupid for doing it now.
Man, you did it in the quarterfinals.
I know.
You did it in the semifinals. I thought you would learn
what
your
the
lesson.
hell is wrong with me?
But-
But at least we
lot
have
of
the most Korean players in the finals that we've ever had at Worlds. So
You,
that's
you
exciting.
should feel bad because you were wrong. Just to give you guys a note, we will be talking about this in a moment. The World Final teams are actually going to flip a coin to determine who will get to choose starting sides in the World Championship. We are looking live at the Summoners Cup, and of course we're going to be using the 500 Korean won coin just for interest's sake. Winner will be picking sides 1, 3, and 5. Those are the game numbers. Loser will be picking sides for games 2 and 4. We've got Dandy from Samsung White and Uzi from Starhorn Royal Club, as well as Aborson flipping the coin. Let's see what the result is. We'll hear that answer in a moment or
Hit the
two. It
ground.
looks like Uzi has won, I believe. We'll get that confirmed in a second. Teams will have until 11:59 a.m. on Thursday, October 16th, to submit their picks to us in terms of which side choice they want. Last year, Royal Club opted to go red side against SK Telecom T1K. It backfired tremendously.
Well,
Starhorn did win it, so they will be picking 1, 3, and 5. They lost 3-0, and Malphite was terrible. Nobody can argue that.
hey,
let's-
Malphite's won some games. I believe in the Rock Solid.
Let's get back to this game. I've been waffling for long enough. Let's talk about this matchup. Freak, you were talking about Cool. I think he choked in game 5. His shockwaves were not on point, and the rest of the team was performing quite well.
It was really unfortunate. Yeah, Cool's the guy I was going to look at. He had a really bad series. Couple of sombreros. There was actually one team fight in the top lane where he just didn't cast the spell. There were 3 guys on the ball.
Can't miss it. if
There
you
was
don't use-
multiple times when he died without ulting.
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take, so I feel like
he
still
missed 100% of the ones he did take that series.
Ow.
That's a little hard.
It didn't work out. Right, let's quickly pull up a replay. Double Up and Crepo, talk me through this replay. It kind of was the tipping point that gave Uzi the items he needed to win, and it summarizes the game quite well.
Yeah, I think this exemplifies the way just China teams meet up against you. We can roll the clip already. It is just a lot of aggression, really early.
It's chaos. It's just pure chaos.
Slightly controlled chaos. There's certain beauty. Zero plays well though. That hook lands on Sand. They burst him immediately. TP comes in, so they disengage. And then somehow, magically, the rest of the team comes down and Mayhem ends.
Communication error right here. Insect kind of walks into 2 people without knowing that they're there. That should have been communicated by, what's his face? Enemy mid.
Not close mid.
Corn.
Haha.
There you go, I got you.
However, look
Great.
at the turn. Zero again gets his teammates out with Lantern, then procs the hook, goes in again, and goes for the counter. And the sombrero.
Oh, that was...
Rumble actually levels up to 6, but
Yeah, also, the adult wasn't very good, even though he did hit
Yeah,
6 in the
panic
middle
movie.
of that fight.
I mean, it's also a TP you don't take. As soon as that person dies, you have at best a 4v5, basically. Like, there's no reason to take that battle. Like, just go push something else. Like, it's one thing I've noticed with Chinese LoL is they react to something by doing the same thing against them instead of taking something elsewhere across the map, right? In game 3, you had the team fight comp, they wouldn't split push against
it's
it. They would
really
beat
hard
comp.
to argue. If you look at the Koreans, the reason why a lot of their TPs are so good is because they do it immediately without hesitation, and then they just play the game whatever happens next. I don't think there's time enough for him to assess that situation
Yeah,
to see
he
what
dies.
happens.
Stop it.
Also,
He died before TP finished, of
If,
course.
if both Ori and Rumble didn't whiff their ultis, though, I think it could have been a good
At least,
turnaround.
yeah.
A decent
yeah,
turnaround.
and if Rumble had actually been 6 at the start of that fight, he would have had a crazy ulti in that tribe
was
round.
Great, but he wasn't, so
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
go.
But an Oriolti could have made him. I mean, it's arguable both ways. Like I see your point.
Well, let's step back a little bit, talk about the series holistically. Starhorn Royal Club demonstrated an inability to play from behind. I'm going to exclude their 9,000 goal deficit win because I think that was more OMG making mistakes than necessarily Royal Club, winning it. But I think if they don't have a lead, they don't do well. Game 5 is maybe a good example of that. Monty, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, and to be fair, the Pantheon pick was very snowbally. I mean, if you get a good lead on the Pantheon, you get some items, you're just going to be able to ult into their backline for free all day. So that was a major contributor as well.
And I think if we also kind of look forward to their final against Samsung White here, one, I like the fact that they could actually handle the game without getting banned out. Lee Sin Rengar denied from Insect every game, still found good champions to play. And also, I think that as long as you put Corrin on a tank in the top lane, he's going to have a much better time getting out of the early game, which is something that they will have better than like Samsung Blue had in their semifinal.
Well, hold that thought. We'll talk a little bit more about the finals in a minute or two. Creppa, I know you and I were discussing just before the game ended that Starhorn Royal Club have gone 2-0 up, then lost 2 in a row, and then won the 5th game. That twice this event already. They
Wait,
seem
they
to be able
lost the
to
first game, though.
seem to be able to dig quite deep.
Yeah, I think they did the same thing.
No,
this game.
yeah,
No, they lost.
Lost
They
one,
lost
1-2.
lost on 1-2. Right. So let
And
me
I was
rephrase.
wrong, Quick.
They've
And
gone
now
to
I
game
apologize
5.
for messing up
They
your
just stepped it up game 5.
Well,
They take it to game 5 and then they win. So I'm going to
That's
make
why
a bold
I-
prediction. If Royal Cup makes it to game 5, then they're going to win the series.
Well, take a look at the teams. This is the final that we will be witnessing next Sunday. It is, of course, Samsung White taking on Starhorn Royal Club. Royal Club back-to-back World Finals. Uzi, back-to-back World Final member. Monty had a beautiful line where Uzi said, "We didn't win last year. Recycle these 4, give me 4 more." He's done it again.
That's right.
Yeah.
I just look forward, like I said, to the reality show for Uzi, where every year they have a contest to pick his 4 new teammates that he will then carry to the World Finals.
Let's actually talk about the final. Let's pull the championship bracket up. Remind everybody how we got to the stage where we are now. Samsung Blue losing to White in the semi-final. Royal Club beating OMG in 5 games. So it does set us up for the world final of Samsung White versus Starhorn Royal Club next Sunday. It's a best of 5. Creppo, you and I are now aware Royal Club goes to 5 games. We'll disregard the order in which they get there.
I take blame.
It's been a long day. It's been a long day. Creppo, first thoughts on this matchup, on this series, after seeing Royal Club today, after seeing White yesterday?
I just want to go back to that shot. I just like that there's this epic stare down on the summer. Yeah, I'm coming for this cup.
It's a
boys.
sweet cup.
Yep.
It is.
I too want one of those cups. But,
Well, you just got to keep playing. Just find Uzi, put him on your team, and then I figure if you can outplay.
Down to join Uzi and friends next season. Like,
No, they don't need
Where's the
They don't
spot?
need 280 carries. But see, this is the thing.
It doesn't matter who
This
they
is
get.
the thing, Peter. What you have to do is now replace CLG with 4 new members of your choosing. That is the road to the
And hard carry.
They got to finals last year. If we end up in relegations against this year, it just kind
Well,
of
right,
fulfills
so
the
you
prophecy.
replace everyone but
hold
Nebula,
up, hold
you
up,
do the
hold up,
same
hold
thing
up, hold
again.
up. I love you all. I love you all. This is not your moment. This is Starhorn Royal Club against Samsung White.
Yeah.
And Freak, legitimately, what are you expecting from the final?
Okay. First of all, as you mentioned before, David and Goliath battle. Samsung White are still going to be gigantic favorites here. They are clearly an incredibly strong team, and just like SKT last year, they are big favorites coming in. Royal Club, I think, do have a chance to do the crazy snowballing. They're one of the better early game teams here. Uzi, still incredible. They can still peel for him. On the right kinds of champions, the players step up. Insect still mechanically very good. Corrin on the right champions actually plays really well. He's been the #2 mid in China for a long time. Had a really bad first 12 games of the tournament, and then finally did really well here in Game 5. So a difficult road, but if they step up individually, you'll see a better series than the one against Samsung Blue, and they can play from ahead.
But I do think the difference in individual performance will have to be so big because the difference in team play and strategy is so huge already. And look at Mata, for example. If he gets rid of Thresh and Janna, Mata's champion pool is so deep that it doesn't even matter. Well, I think Zero might actually be affected there.
So Doublelift and Monty, just before we do wrap up the day, what's your take on this final and whether or not the Protector 80 carry style can challenge White?
Oh man, just like Freak said and Crepo said, they're such underdogs. I mean, Royal Club is gonna have a hard road ahead of them, and just watching White, it is the closest to perfect I've ever seen League of Legends played. And playing perfectly, part of playing perfectly is having perfect communication, because no one player can see everything, right? You can only look at whatever is on your screen. And Royal Club clearly has some communication problems when they rely on smart pings, they don't all speak the same language. Yes, they made it to finals, but communication, if that breaks down at any point, it's just going to be really hard to come back.
And very final thoughts, Monty, before we do roll forward.
Yeah, I think that that individual, just player by player, they're not going to be as far behind. Of course, Looper's been playing amazingly, as has Going, and we did see at some points Cola have some problems during this series, and I think those problems are going to come again. And with the kind of better lane swap and better map tactics, as well as the deeper champion pools on Samsung White, Royal, it's an uphill battle.
It is definitely an uphill battle, one that we'll be discussing this week as we prepare for that final next week. Guys, we do have one more thing we need to get covered here, because there were 33 different champions played over the last 2 days here in Seoul. But instead of choosing a lineup of the most popular choices, we've decided to put together a well-executed poke comp-styled champions, which played exceptionally well within their roles. So I'd like once again to ask our analysts, who would your roster be based on these semi-final games, that MVP roster we've done for each of the stages? Freak, I'm going to start with you in the top and the jungle. If you could list them off and give me some points as to why.
Yeah, so first off, Rumble. Rumble's been awesome. As long as you hit the ultimates, you have ways of winning the team fights. It works with the rest of the combos. We unveil it, but he's a good, like, oh my god, a team fight, let's hit some buttons, as well as pushing people off turrets. Second champion, or second role here, jungle, Rengar. Rengar has been absolutely incredible this week. We see him when he's played well. Insect getting it banned all 5 games against him. Dandy, incredible in champion as well. You set a team up early on with someone like Rengar, and you can carry it through very easily.
Yeah, for me too, if we go into the mid lane, like, you got to take Jace here. Cool did well on it. We saw a ton of it in the last semifinal. So versatile in terms of his ability to poke, and also just a great skirmisher in that hammer stance. He does a ridiculous amount of damage on his tier power spike.
Yeah, completely agree.
For AD carry, probably Corki. He's just incredibly solid all-around champion. He never really falls off except for super late game 5-6 items, and you hardly ever see games go that way. I especially think in the finals, games will be decided in like 30 to 35 minutes, maybe even less. So Corki never really gets to fall off. He's just incredible in all situations.
So and if we're running a poke comp and we have double lift on Corki, he might get caught, so we'll need some peel and disengage. I'm going to go with Janna. I think Janna was a top tier pick alongside Thresh in this tournament, and this pretty much rounds up the comp.
It really, really does. It's a comp we've seen actually pretty similarly over the last 2 days. You can actually pick up that MVP semi-final bundle in the store right now. It does include skins that have been used by the World Championship players, and quite a few of those have actually been the reason that these teams are in the World Championship final. Of course, we will remain here in Seoul, South Korea, as the Warriors from Samsung White and Starhorn Royal Club meet in the Sangam World Cup Stadium next Sunday for the 2014 World Championship final.
biggest stops of all of the Worlds.
Starhorn Royan will take down OMG to move through to the 2014 World Championship Finals.
Well, that epic battle for the Summoners Cup takes place 1 week from today. The finals will begin at 3 p.m. local time with a 30-minute pre-game show. Then it is a special opening ceremony with traditional Korean elements, the introduction of the teams, as well as a live performance of Warriors by Imagine Dragons. After that, the action starts as the finalist battle on the Rift for the right to join Fnatic, Taipei Assassins, and SK Telecom T1K as world champions. Once the Summoners Cup is awarded, stick around as we celebrate the winning team with fireworks, music, and an extended post-game show. So guys, mark your calendars for Sunday, October 19th at 8 a.m. Central European Summertime. Or if you're in the Pacific time zone, that will actually start up on your streams at 11 p.m. on Saturday, October 18th. The full schedule and more World Championship information is all available at lolesports.com. Be sure to check it out, especially for times in your time zone. Guys, that wraps up things for the final series of the knockout stage, but we will be with you again very, very soon as we head to the World Championship. Until then, I'd like to once again thank all of our analysts here on the desk and for the rest of the entire World's broadcast team. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next week.
Seeing matches like this that are two teams that know each other really, really well.
This is going to be a really, really interesting one to watch.
Insect's going to go down, Zero in trouble. They're going to keep on diving the turret, but who's He's still fighting back. He will go down. It's a double attack. Solid victory in game 1 for OMG. There's going to be the shroud. Oh, he caught Tyler out. The equalizer splits the team.
Call is low on the back, but he turned it around, and it's Royal Club that win game number 2.
Uzi could go in deep. That's gone down. The Guardian and the top way. Get on towards it. OMG just scattering like the wind.